The role of an infantry fighting vehicle, or IFV, is to carry infantry as close as possible to the enemy before they dismount, and providing direct fire both while approaching the enemy and then in supporting the dismounts as they assault. To achieve this, the IFV needs the same mobility or better as tanks and other supporting vehicles. It needs the firepower to engage other armoured vehicles, including tanks, as well as fortified positions. And its protection needs to be sufficient to survive in this operational environment. Finally, the dismount element, the infantry, must be able to effectively enter and exit the vehicle and be in the best state to fight. Current conflicts have shown that IFVs are still important on the battlefield, albeit vulnerable to loitering munitions. But IFVs don't operate in isolation. They will work in conjunction with other weapon systems, including those that can actively engage aerial targets. Additionally, no matter how good an IFV is, it must be operated effectively by its crew and employed in the right way. G'day and salutations. Today's briefing: Australian AS21 Redback and Chinese ZBD-04A, infantry fighting vehicles. This briefing will examine the Redback and ZBD-04A by looking at their design focus and firepower, protection and mobility characteristics. Before getting into the briefing, I want to thank all those supporters of the channel and encourage those who have not yet subscribed to help get the channel to 10,000 subscribers. The AS21 Redback was specifically designed for Australia and has significant changes over the Korean K21 from which it is derived. The focus of the design is on protection, which is superior to the K21, and the ability to deliver in a combat-ready state a large dismounted infantry element. The Redback has a traditional IFV layout with the driver on the left and engine on the front right, a manned turret in the middle, and a troop compartment in the rear. The Redback's turret mounts a 30mm cannon and a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. A remote weapon station is also mounted on the turret roof, which can be integrated with a 7.62 or 12.7mm machine gun or a 40mm automatic grenade launcher. It is also fitted with the Spike anti-tank guided missile. The gunner and commander have independent third-generation sights, and there is an additional 360-degree sight as part of the remote weapon station. Protection for the Redback meets STANAG Level 6 requirements, providing protection against 30mm APFSDS rounds at 500 metres across the frontal arc and 155mm artillery high explosive bursts at 10 metres. It is fitted with a range of active and passive protection systems, including add-on modular armour, a floating floor designed to mitigate the effects of mines or IEDs, smoke grenade launchers, a laser warning system, and an active protection system in the form of the Iron Fist APS. In terms of mobility, with a maximum weight of 42 tonnes, up from the 26 tonnes of the K21, the Redback is heavy for an IFV, though there are others heavier. It is powered by a 735 kilowatt or 1000 horsepower engine and is fitted with single-piece rubber tracks. Now, these tracks are claimed to be able to absorb more shock when traversing difficult or uneven terrain, as well as providing increased mobility when braking and making tight angle manoeuvres. They are also claimed to be quieter and provide a smoother and more comfortable ride, but are more difficult to replace in the field by the vehicle crew. The Redback also comes with Elbit's Iron Vision external camera system, which allows the operator, via his helmet, to see everything outside, significantly improving situational awareness. Finally, the dismount element enters and exits the vehicle through a ramp for wider and easier access, but can also use the door within the ramp if that is all that is required. In summary, the Redback has good firepower, including a twin retractable launcher for the Spike ER ATGM, excellent protection, including Plasan modular armour, and significant mobility, including a power-to-weight ratio of 24 horsepower per tonne or 17.5 kilowatt per tonne. Conversely, the Chinese ZBD-04A, like the PLA's premier main battle tank, the ZTZ-99A, displays both Soviet/Russian and Western design philosophies, and with a greater focus on firepower and mobility than on protection. Developed from the ZBD-04, which entered service around 1997, the modified ZBD-04A, which entered service around 2006. It is 4 tons heavier due to the redesigned turret, which is bigger, squarer and more sloped at the front, and with the hull being lengthened. Also, the water jets have been removed on the 04 Alpha. In terms of firepower, the main armament is a licensed version of the Russian 100mm rifled gun, capable of firing programmable airburst, high explosive fragmentation and thermobaric rounds out to an effective range of 4,000 metres. It can also launch the 3 UBK anti-tank guided missile, which, as well as being able to engage armoured vehicles and fortifications, can also engage low-flying helicopters out to a range of around 5,500 metres. The Chinese 3 UBK derivative has apparently been upgraded on the 04 Alpha to have a top attack capability. Secondary armament is a 30mm cannon firing AP, APDS and HE frag out to 2,000 metres, and for air targets out to around 4,000 metres. It also has a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun. The fire control system supports hunter-killer engagement, and a millimetre wave fire control radar can be mounted above the main gun to support target acquisition and missile guidance. The gunner has second generation integrated day-night thermal sights and an emergency backup day sight. The commander has an independent second generation thermal sight that can rotate 360 degrees. In terms of protection, with a pleak armour fitted to the front and side, the frontal arc of the vehicle can resist 30mm AP rounds fired from a distance of 1,000 metres, while the sides of the hull can defend against 4.5mm AP rounds fired from a range of 200 metres. Also, the bottom of the hull is strengthened to protect against anti-tank mines. Laser warning receivers are fitted, but there are no ERA or APS fitted to operational vehicles. In terms of mobility, the ZBD-04A weighs 24 tonnes, with its engine generating 670 horsepower or 500 kilowatts. As mentioned earlier, the water jets found on the ZBD-04 have been removed and the trim vane is smaller. Finally, and consistent across the PLA's IFVs and APCs, the 04 Alpha has a single door at the rear for the infantry to dismount and remount rather than a ramp. Also, one of the dismount elements is situated in the front of the hull behind the driver but in front of the turret. In summary, the ZBD-04A has very good firepower, including at least 8 or even more anti-tank guided missiles, good protection, including add-on modular armour, and very good mobility, including a power-to-weight ratio of around 28 horsepower per tonne or 21 kilowatt per tonne, and a limited amphibious capability. While this is not a head-to-head comparison, in terms of areas of strengths or advantages, here are some thoughts. For firepower, with the 30mm guns and ATGMs being in the same capability window, the additional ATGM's capacity, often 8 but could even be more, and the direct fire capability of the 100mm gun gives the ZBD a tick. In terms of protection, there is no evidence that operational ZBD-04As are equipped with ERA or APS. So the Redback's better base armour, better anti-mine protection, together with APS and potentially the remote weapon station, gives it a tick. For mobility, top speeds on road or cross country aren't all that helpful in determining battlefield mobility. The ZBD has a good power to weight ratio, likely lower ground pressure, and limited amphibious capability. Its lighter weight will improve strategic mobility and likely also tactical mobility by greater bridge access. The Redback, on the other hand, has rubber tracks which may prove important in certain tactical situations, but are more difficult to change in the field by the vehicle crew. Additionally, the Ironwise all-round camera system will provide significant situational awareness for manoeuvring in close terrain. Finally, we must consider the infantry that are carried as dismounts and part of the overall capability. The rubber tracks, more spacious interior, and more troops, together with the rear ramp on the Redback, suggest that the troops will arrive in better shape and be able to exit and enter the vehicle in a more efficient way, giving the Redback a tick. In summary, as the ongoing conflict in Europe has shown, IFVs still play a critical role in moving infantry to take objectives, as long as they have a decent level of protection. This decent level of protection will be both passive and active systems on the IFV itself and be augmented by supporting assets. Being able to deliver a good-sized infantry element that can quickly enter and exit the vehicle, moving across difficult terrain and under fire, is the raison d'etre for an IFV. The ZBD-04 Alpha is a 20-year-old design which entered service around 2006, with the AS21 Redback to enter service in 2027. So there is a significant technological gap between the two. Given the age of the 04A, the PLA is due for a new tracked IFV, noting a new wheeled IFV has just begun entering service. See the separate briefing link below. Might we see a new PLA tracked IFV soon? One that has been influenced by recent high-end conflicts in Europe? That concludes today's briefing. Thank you for watching. Happy to take suggestions for future briefings from subscribers, so please subscribe, like and share. Until next time, far later, Sarah.